Computer. Right, now we're recording. We're recording. Brilliant. Right. Hi, everybody. Today is International Day of Friendship. So a very big hello to all my friends, old and new, near and far. It's lovely to have friends, and I feel that we've all become friends in our group and our Sangha. So thank you for being my friends and happy Friendship Day. Today we're going to be working with the Muladhara chakra. So that is the root chakra or the base chakra. The chakras, you could usefully visualize them as they're part of the metaphysical body. So if you dissected anybody, you wouldn't find all these little whirling wheels and chakras and things. But in yoga, they believe that we do have these chakras as part of our subtle body. Different schools of yoga, different schools of tantra, and different schools of other things have different ideas about how many chakras. There are some people or some schools will say, oh, there's 5. In yoga, in Hatha yoga, we tend to work on a 7 chakra model, and in some schools there are many, but we are working with a 7 chakra model, and we're starting off at the base. We're starting off with the root chakra, Muladhara chakra. The chakras could kind of usefully be visualized as sort of centers of psychic and psychological, emotional and spiritual energy. They're sort of whirling vortexes of energy, and the word chakra in Sanskrit actually means wheel. So they're these metaphysically spinning wheels, and they have colours commonly associated with them. And the colour for the Muladhara chakra is red, so I've dressed accordingly. When the chakras get out of balance, it can kind of have knock-on effects for us, both kind of energetically, physically energetically, psychologically, emotionally and spiritually. So it's good to kind of do a bit of work around these things, you know, just to try to keep everything on track. The Muladhara chakra is our base, it's our survival, it's all the nitty-gritty that we need to keep us grounded, keep us surviving and keep us thriving. And when it gets out of balance, we can get sort of issues around stability or security. We can get issues around eating, issues around money, you know, and the blockage or the out of balance can come in a couple of ways. We can either be sort of a bit on the blocked side or overactive, which would probably have a different effect. So we're just going to have a little focus on that in our practice tonight. So I've talked at you long enough, so please come to lie on your backs. And now just stretching out, stretch the arms overhead, point the feet, flex the feet, stretch the arms away, maybe stretch opposite arm and leg so that you're having a diagonal stretch. Maybe stretch same arm and leg so you're having a lateral stretch. And now just bring the arms back overhead. And then just bending both knees, bring the feet onto the mat about hip distance apart, and just do some little pelvic tilts. So just rocking the pelvis gently up and down. So we're just starting to bring a little bit of movement into the pelvic area, the seat of the Muladhara chakra. So just some nice little movements there. And then coming to stillness. And now taking feet as wide as the mat, arms out to the sides, shoulder width. And just allowing both knees to descend over to the left, to the mat. Head turns to the right, back to centre, both knees over to the right, head turns to the left. So we're doing a kind of a windshield wipery movement, but with the knees coming down as close to the mat as they want to go. Just working gently with the breath. Just moving and just starting to bring a little bit of movement to the hips, a little bit of movement to the lower abdomen, and a little bit of movement into the side of the body. And now coming back to stillness in the center. And now lifting the right leg up to the sky, flexing the foot so that you're almost having, as if you're standing on the ceiling, and hands may come to the back of the thigh, hands may come up to the calf, or maybe to the toe. Wherever they are, it's absolutely okay. The left leg can stay bent with the foot flat on the floor, or you can extend that leg, and if you do, flex those toes, keep that leg active. And now just start to make some little circles with the right leg, just waking up the hip a little bit, so just circling, making use of that ball and socket joint, and then circle a little bit the other way. Back to the first way, and now back to the other way. Then come into stillness and really stretching that heel up towards the sky and firming that quad, so firming the top of the front of the thigh. And then from here, keeping grounded through that left hip, just allow the right hip to open out to the side. Maybe you want to support the leg a little bit with the hand. And just breathing into that stretch. Now drawing the leg back to center, and this time allow it to come over to the left. So keeping that right hip grounded, maybe placing the right thumb into that right hip crease, and just allowing the leg to come over to the left, and feeling maybe a stretch down the outer right hip and maybe down the IT bands of the outer right thigh. And then coming back to center, just straighten the leg once more, pressing the heel back up to the sky, and then release that leg to the ground. And repeating with the left leg. So yogi's choice, if you had your left foot placed on the floor and the knee bent, keep that on the left hand side. If the leg was straight, do that, remembering to keep that leg active, flexing the foot, and with the left leg pressing the heel up towards the ceiling as if you're trying to stand flat on the ceiling, and engaging that front quad. And now just gently circling the left hip in its socket, just starting to bring a little bit of mobility, and now circling the other way. Back to the first way. And now back to the second way. And now, grounding the right hip and supporting the left leg as much as you need to, allow that left leg to open out to the side. So normally we'd have a strap, but I don't know what props people have got, but your arm can go under that extended thigh and act quite nicely to support it. Remembering to breathe. And now drawing the leg up to center, anchoring that left hip, maybe pressing the left thumb into that hip crease and allowing the leg to come over to the right. Just feeling that stretch down the outer left hip and maybe the IT band. Once again, you feel free to support the leg. Drawing the leg up to center, once again pressing that foot up to the ceiling and release. And then from here, hugging both knees into the chest, just see how much of a hug you can get without actually drawing the knees in with your hands. So really using the hip flexors to draw in and using those abdominal muscles to draw in. And when you can't go any further, just clasping the knees and just have a little rock from side to side. Just easing out the lower back a bit. Maybe drawing some circles with the knees. Circling the other way. And now coming into happy baby. So we're going to make it an active happy baby. So we're going to draw the feet down towards the earth with the hands, but at the same time we're going to push the soles of the feet up into the hands. So we're not just stretching, we're bringing a bit of activity, and that fires up the adductor muscles. And see if you can stretch the coccyx down towards the earth. And breathe. And release. Hug the knees into the chest again. And now placing the hands behind the thighs, just rocking, a little rock along the length of the spine if that feels good in your body. And then rocking all the way up to sitting. And from here, just turning to face the front or face the long edge of the mat a minute. So from here, we're just going to take a seated hip opener, so coming into Sukhasana, so that's easy pose, where the legs are crossed and the feet come so that they're more or less under the opposite knee. Shins parallel as you can towards the front edge of the mat. And then from here, keeping the back straight as you can, just start to walk the hands forward. Now, Muladhara chakra is all about rooting and grounding. So remembering to keep those seat bones rooted and grounded into the earth. So yes, we are taking a forward fold, but only as much as the body will allow while we can still keep those sit bones grounded. And if this feels strong in the outer hips, just breathe into the area where you feel that stretch. Maybe walking the hands out a little bit more as the body starts to release. Sometimes we find that we can still stay grounded, but there's a little bit more available to us. Walking the hands back up. Changing the cross of the legs. Still in Sukhasana. And now we're going to take just a little side bend, starting to work on the side body. So placing the left hand out towards the side of the left hip. Inhale, reach the right arm up overhead. And still staying as grounded as you can. Taking a little bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Right arm comes to the ground. Exhale, left arm comes over. Remembering to stay grounded and just moving in your own time, working with the breath, but focusing on staying rooted, staying grounded. So we've got that prana, we've got that apana, the rooting down, the downward energy, but we're keeping the upper body long, we're lengthening the spine, so we're also bringing some apana, prana, upward energy. And now returning to center, and we're just going to take a little twist. So once again, changing the cross of the legs again. So we're going to take an active twist. So arms out to the side, inhale, twist to the left, exhale back to center, inhale, twist to the right, exhale back to center, inhale, twist to the left. You notice that you don't, well, certainly I don't have nearly as deep a twist, if I'm not using the hands for leverage, we're literally relying on our abdominal muscles to help us with the twist. And just keep going in your own time. And now returning to center, returning to stillness. Coming now to the back edge of your mat, so you're facing the long edge again now. Sorry, facing the short edge again now. And making your way into extended child's pose. Keeping, if you can, keeping the knees together, or as much together as you can, and then rooting the sitting bones back towards the heel, allow the arms to extend out. And the reason we're keeping the knees as close together as we comfortably can is to create a little bit of compression along the abdomen. And by doing this, as we breathe, we're giving the organ body a little massage, because of course as we breathe, the abdomen expands into the thighs, and it just creates a little bit of a massage. And then from here, walking the hands out, coming up into downward facing dog. The first downward facing dog of the night, so make it your own. Have a little wiggle, have a little shimmy. Do whatever you need to do to make it your own. Your body will tell you what it wants to do. Some bodies crave movement, maybe pedaling out the feet, maybe lifting a leg, three-legged dog, or maybe opening the leg, open the side body. Yogi's choice. I'm afraid I can't see all the wonderful things you're doing, but I bet there's some wonderfully creative stuff going on. Some people just want stillness, and that's absolutely okay too. And remember, whatever version you take, keeping the spine long, rooting the hands into the ground. So here your hands are part of your foundation, as well as your feet, and lifting the pelvis up and back. And then from here, walking the hands back to the feet. Just taking a little forward fold. Once again, allow a little bit of movement to come to the body. Let the feet root into the ground. Feel the feet firm and strong. Just allow the body to dangle, maybe have a little shimmy, swing from side to side. Maybe you want to take a little twist. Now coming into stillness, walking the hands forward again to come back into downward facing dog. From here, bending the knees to come back to child's pose. This time, big toes touching, knees wider. Walking the hands back, and allow the abdomen this time to sink into the space between the knees. And this time we're giving the organ body a little bit of a holiday, because we've created space for it to lengthen, and we're also allowing the organs to drop away from the spine a little bit. So we've given them a little bit of a massage, and now we're giving them a little bit of a holiday. And let's breathe. And then from here, coming back up onto the knees, and keeping the knees, keeping the shins up, sorry, the thighs vertical. Walk the hands out and coming into Anahatasana pose, or extended puppy dog pose, melting heart pose. And just allow the shoulders to soften, the side body to open, the back to open, and breathe. I thought Rachel had read my mind on Tuesday because she started trotting out all the things I had planned, including this one. And if this stretch is strong for you, just breathe into the stretch or back off a little bit. And then from here, raise the head, walk the hands back. And now tuck the toes under so that all of the toes are in contact with the mat. And if you can, sit back on the heels. As you would expect, with a pose that's all with a theme that's all about grounding. We ground through our feet, so of course we've got to give them a little bit of love. And apologies for those of you that this is agony for, but we're opening all the fascia in the underneath of the feet. And again, I thought Rachel had read my mind, so from here, just using the hands to press back, making any adjustments you need to, coming into a squat, Malasana. If the feet hover, that's okay. It can be nice if the feet hover and you want a bit of support. It'd be nice to roll up the mat and use that in place of a block, if you don't have a block, or to hover on a blanket. But whatever your preference is, trying to root the tailbone down towards the ground, trying to keep the spine long, hands in prayer position, arms inside the knees, so pressing the knees a little bit wide, grounding through the feet, and just feel the weight rooting down towards the ground, connecting into the earth, plugging in. This is where I thank all the gardening. I tend to garden in Malasana. I offer that to you as an option. It's a really great way to work on your Malasana, and you're right in there at kind of garden level, so it's, you know, quite a good thing to do. A great one for bringing yoga and some yoga poses into everyday life. Okay, and releasing, just allowing the weight to come forward. Untuck your mat if you've tucked the mat up. And making your way to stand at the top of the mat. So from here, we're just going to warm up a little bit. So as you're in your own homes and you've got a lot more space than you would have in a studio, I'm going to invite you to inhabit the space. And in the studio, we might move the arms kind of in a vertical plane. Let's really enjoy the extra space we've got. So, standing tall in Tadasana, sweep the arms out to the side and up overhead, taking a little back bend if that's good in your body. Exhale, swan diving forward into Uttanasana. Bending the knees if you need to keep the lower back happy. It's your first proper forward fold from the upright position. Exhale, halfway lift. So maybe fingertips are on the mat, maybe hands are on the shins. Having a really, really good stretch. We're taking this slow. The spine is straight. And really, with the halfway lift and the spine straight, you can really feel the hamstrings opening. Exhale, folding in, bending the knees as much as you need to get the hands to the mat. Inhale, step the right foot back. Exhale, right knee to the mat. And we're going to sweep the arms out wide, coming up into Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands back wide, coming to frame the front foot. Untuck the back toes. Inhale, stepping back, downward facing dog. Exhale, coming forward into our beloved plank. And now we're going to lower to the ground. Yogi's choice. You can lower to the ground in one straight line, or knees can come to the ground. Elbows bend back towards you, tucking in, and you can literally roll down from the knees through the thighs to the chest. I've ended up at the top of the mat, so shuffling back. Hands under the heads of the shoulders. Toes are untucked. The flats of the toenails pressing into the mat. Really firm the thighs, so the shins lift, but the thighs are firm. And now inhale to press up into a very, very baby cobra. So we're not so much using the hands as engaging the back muscles. Exhale to lower. Tuck the toes, maybe coming up through tabletop, pressing up and back into downward facing dog. And then from here, coming high on the balls of the feet, and lightly spring the right foot forward between the hands, lower the back knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the side, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands back down through the sides to the front, tuck the back toes, stepping forward, right foot meets with the left. Inhale to fold in. Exhale, halfway lift, spine is long, gazing forward, not down. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the side. Take a little back bend if that feels good in your body. Exhale, hands to the heart in prayer. So we're going to go again, but a little bit more pace. So inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in, hands to the floor. Inhale, step the left foot back, drop the left knee. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, walking forward into plank. Lowering to the ground in whichever method you've chosen that feels good in your body. Untuck the toes. Inhale, pressing up to cobra. We can go a little bit higher this time. Exhale, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. Coming high on the balls of the feet. Spring the left foot forward to between the hands. Exhale, back knee to the ground. Untuck the toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands back to frame the front foot. Step the right foot forward. Inhale, folding in. Exhale, halfway lift. Inhale, fold in. Exhale, sweep the arms out to the side, up overhead. Take a little back bend if that feels good. Exhale, hands to the heart in prayer. And now I'm going to change ends. In fact, I'm going to turn to face you. You may or may not want to have a wall for this. We are going to just do a little bit of balance. So we're just going to feel our way into the feet. So just spread the toes. Just let the feet really ground. So have a little wiggle. And have a little wiggle around on the feet, maybe circling a little bit, shifting the weight around, circling a little bit, shifting the weight the other way, and really start to feel the feet plugging in. And then from here, pay a little bit of attention to the arches of the feet. So see if you can lift the arches. See if you can lift the inner arch. And see if you can lift the inner ankles. Feel how that switches on the interior line of the legs. So just lifting the inner arches and lifting the ankles. It switches everything on all the way up to the pelvis. So from here, engaging the quads, allowing the pelvis to come into neutral and really root down into the ground, so everything's rooting down into the earth. And now growing tall from there, so that the sternum, the breastbone is lifted, and the neck lifts from the top of the throat. Chin is parallel to the floor, not lifted up. Feeling like you've got a string drawing you tall from the top of the head. Rolling the shoulders back and down, turning the arms out to the front, spreading the fingers, and lifting the corners of the mouth towards the ears, like so. And this is a really active pose. It just seems like we're standing here, but there's so much that goes on in Tadasana. It's our foundation grounding pose. So the feet are really working, the arches are lifting, the weight is evenly distributed. You're keeping those inner ankles lifted, quads are engaged, rooting down from the top of the pelvis into the earth, but at the same time growing tall, 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 being drawn up to the sky. And release. Just take out the feet a little bit. So from here, we're just going to take a little balance. We're going to come into tree pose, because trees root and trees ground. So placing the weight, allowing the weight to come into the left foot. Your pose may be here. Your pose may be here. Your pose may be here. Wherever it is, trying to keep that left leg hugged into the centre, so that you're not spilling out to the side, pressing the right thigh into the left leg and the left leg into the right foot. And from here, maybe the hands want to come to prayer position. Maybe they want to come a little bit higher. Find your drishti, that non-moving spot, and allow the eyes to softly focus. And breathe. And just be a witness to the merry little dance that's going on in that standing leg foot, all the way up to the calf, the proprioception as the body works to preserve its place in space. Lowering the hands, drawing the foot to the centre and release. Shake out the standing foot, because it probably needs it. Once again, feet together, big toes to touch. This time placing the weight into the right foot. And maybe this is your pose. Maybe this is your pose. There's no hierarchy. Higher is not better. It's just whatever works in your body. Maybe this is your pose. Finding your balance, whatever that may be. Remembering to keep the pelvis as level as you can, hugging the standing leg into the centre, pressing the foot into the standing leg, pressing the standing leg into the foot. Maybe hands are in prayer, maybe hands sweep up overhead, finding your drishti, softening the eyes, and breathing. Just witnessing the sensations that are going on in the body. Well, I'm turning into a palm tree, starting to sway. And now lowering the arms, turning the leg towards the centre and release. Shake out the feet. So, got a nice little flow to do now. Getting a bit close to the end there. Okay. So, standing at the top of your mats, so we're going to inhale, arms up overhead, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, folding in, step the right foot back, inhale, drop drop the right knee to the floor. Exhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Inhale, hands back to the mat. Exhale, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward into plank. And from here, placing the left hand a little bit further forward, a little bit to the centre, allowing both feet to swivel and coming into a side plank. This may be enough. Maybe you want to place the right foot in front. This may be enough. This may be enough, or maybe you want to come to here and release, turning back to centre. This time coming back, realigning your plank. This time placing the right arm a little towards the centre, a little forward, swivelling both feet to the side so it gives us a little bit of extra support. Maybe the left foot wants to come to the centre, and this is your pose. Maybe the left foot wants to be out next to the right foot, and this is your pose. Whichever is your pose, remembering to lift the side body and breathe. Release, hands back into plank and pressing up and back into downward facing dog. Coming high on the balls of the feet. From here, stepping the right foot forward between the hands, spin the back foot, and we're coming up into warrior two. So the alignment of the feet can be heel to heel, it can be heel to arch. Heel to heel gives you a little bit more stability. So really take a second or two to root and ground through the feet, and then cartwheel the arms up, whoops, into warrior two. So pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, and front shin is vertical, pressing into the front foot. Feel like your fingers are being pulled in both directions away from one another, and allow your drishti, your gaze, to be soft but intent over the front fingers. And from here, allowing the front arm to come to rest on the front thigh, or maybe it wants to come to the ground, yogi's choice. Again, there's no hierarchy, one is not better than the other. And sweeping the left arm up into extended side angle. Now, wherever the front arm is, make it active. So you're not just collapsing the body into either the ground or the thigh. You're pressing up and away, you're rooting down to the ground, and you've got a long line of energy running from that back foot right up through the top fingertips. The arm is straight, and you're channeling that energy from the earth straight up through. And then sweeping the arms back, coming back into warrior two. From here, straighten the back leg, straighten the front leg, drop the arms. So we're going to come into Trikonasana. I'm just going to swivel round so you can see me better. I landed up on the wrong side. So from here, once again, just check your stance. If you know you hyperextend the front knee, make sure you keep a little bit of bend in it. So from here, extend the arms out to the side and reaching out far as you can over that front leg. And once you can't reach forward any further, allowing that front arm to come down. Maybe it comes to the shin, maybe it comes to the ankle, maybe it comes to the floor. Yogi's choice. But we're looking to extend sideways, not forwards. So higher may be better. And the top arm can come round behind the back into the waistband and provide a bit of leverage to open the chest. And if that's okay, you can reach the top arm up. And yogi's choice, depending on your neck, you can either turn to look up or just look straight forward. Or if your neck's really unhappy, you can turn and look down to the ground. and breathe. And then sweeping the back arm back, engaging the quads and stand to rise. And then from here, turning the back foot in, turning the front foot out, coming into warrior two again. So just check your length. Make sure that that front knee is behind the ankle, not coming forward of the ankle. Make sure the weight is coming into the outer edge of the back foot. Try to keep the arms as level as you can. Back arm has a tendency to do stuff when we're not watching it. I've got the advantage, I can see the camera. And turn your drishti, your gaze, over the front fingers and breathe. And really pressing both feet into the ground. So feeling that weight in the outer edge of the back foot, weight coming down through the heel and the ball of the front foot. And then from here, inhale, coming forward into extended side angle. Really using that arm to press away, reaching the arm up overhead. And really extending from the outer edge of the back foot, right up through the whole of the right hand side of the body, up through the fingers, arm is straight, and just visualize that energy being channeled from the earth up through the body and out through the fingers. And then from here, keeping the legs the same, cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Take a rest for a second, lower the arms if you wish. We're setting up for triangle. So raise the arms again and extend the body sideways. So we're reaching out to the side as far as we can. When we can't reach any further, allow the body to bend over. Top arm may come onto the opposite waistband, I think onto the left hip, and use that as a bit of leverage to open the chest. And if you're happy there, drawing that arm up, finding a comfortable place for the neck, and breathe. And then using the top arm as a lever, extending to straighten. Turn both feet to the front and step or hop the feet together. Hands to the heart in prayer. And now, making your way down onto the mat, and we're going to take some counter poses, some cooling down. So we're going to start off with some back bends. We're going to come into a baby camel. So that means coming onto the knees, feet behind you. Feet can be tucked or untucked. Sitting back towards the heels, draw the hands back behind you, and then just lift the chest. Try not to throw the head too far back, just keep the neck very comfortable, but lifting the chest. So we're taking a nice little back bend. And this is a baby camel. And release. Inhale once again, coming back into baby camel. And release. Once more, baby camel. And release. And then from here, just swiveling so that the feet come out in front of you and you're sat on your bottom with the feet out in front. Placing the hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards the front of the mat. Hands a little distance away from the bottom. And from here, coming up into a reverse tabletop. And release. And we can come up into a reverse tabletop again, Or if it's okay in your body and you want to, we can take reverse plank, Purvottanasana. So inhale, coming up into reverse tabletop. If you want to go into reverse plank, extending the legs, lifting the belly, lifting the pelvis, taking care of the neck, and breathe and release. And one more time, whichever version you wish, reverse tabletop or Purvottanasana, reverse plank. Inhale, press up into the pose, lifting the pelvis, whichever version you're in, and release. And now we're just going to take a little twist. So coming into Ardha Matsyendra. So the left foot comes underneath you towards the right buttock. Right leg crosses in front. If that's not okay in your body, that's not happening, keep the left leg extended and just the right foot crosses over to the top. Foot stays flat on the ground and you can still take the twist from here. Or take the version where the left foot comes underneath you and over to the right. Right foot comes across, the top of the left thigh, foot is flat on the ground. And inhale just to lengthen the spine. The right hand comes back behind you, planted firmly on the ground. And inhale and just take a twist, and you can either wrap the left arm around the right knee and pressing with that right hand, pressing the body upright, but at the same time allowing the body to come back a bit so that if you're like me and you've got a belly, the belly's not stopping the twist. And that could be your twist. Or maybe you want to raise the left arm and place the left forearm against the right outer thigh or top of the right knee. And in the twist we inhale to allow the body to lengthen, the spine straightens and lengthens. And then as we exhale, we invite the body to see if there's maybe a little bit more it wants to give us. And breathe. Exhale, release to centre, changing the legs. So whichever version you took last time, whether it's extended leg with foot over, or foot by the bottom, placing the left foot over the top, foot flat on the ground, left hand behind the left buttock, inhale the arm up, exhale to twist to the left, and you can hug the top of that left knee and thigh, and twist, so pressing into the mat with the left hand, pressing the body so that it comes upright, but equally allowing a bit of space for the belly. Or it can be top of the right forearm on the top of the left thigh. And inhale to grow tall. Exhale, just see if there's any more twist. Exhale, release to centre. And now coming to lie on the back. We're just going to take bridge pose. And we're just going to do it a little bit dynamically. So planting the feet are hip width apart, planting the feet. Inhale, pressing the ground away, pressing the knees forward. Allow the arms to come overhead. Exhale to roll down, bone by bone. Inhale to rise. Exhale lowering. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lowering. Being careful not to let the knees splay out, so keep a little bit of engagement in the inner thighs. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. And now we're just going to take a final supine twist. So we're going to cross the right leg over the left, stretch the left leg out, and just allow the body to twist to the left. Arms can come out at shoulder height if that's okay in your body, and if it's okay in your neck, turning to look over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Just readjust yourself, maybe shimmy the pelvis or the hips over a little bit to the left. This time cross the right leg, the left leg over the right. Allow the knees to descend to the right, arms out at shoulder height. And if it's okay in your neck, turning to look over the left shoulder. Turning back to center. Hug the knees into the chest, have a little rock. And now just making your way up to a comfortable seat. And if you've got something to lean against, maybe you want to, just be really, really comfortable, because we're going to do a very brief meditation before Shavasana. So making yourselves really, really super comfortable so that you can stay still and not have to think about the body. And now closing the eyes and starting to turn inwards. And I'm going to offer you a couple of themes that you may wish to take on your meditation. I have a little mantra. I am anchored to the earth and supported by the universe. I am anchored to the earth and supported by the universe. And maybe that will be your meditation. Or maybe you want to visualize a pulsating ball of red light at the very base of the spine, at the very coccyx area. And as you inhale, it expands. As you exhale, it contracts, so it's pulsating. And maybe that is your meditation.
into your bodies just as much as you need to. Make all your preparations, put on the cosy layers, do whatever you need to prepare for a wonderful Shavasana. And when you're ready, lying on your backs or legs up the wall if that's available to you and you want to. And just allow the legs to open, feet to flop out to the sides, draw the shoulders underneath you, allow the arms to come out to the sides, and let go. You are anchored to the earth. The universe is supporting you. No more effort is required. Just checking in from the top to the toes, so relaxing the top of the head, relaxing the forehead, unclenching the eyelids, unclenching the jaw, wiggling the tip of the tongue, the root of the tongue, allowing the throat to be soft, relaxing the top of the arms, the lower arms, the hands, belly soft and relaxed. Relax the thighs, relax the calves, relax the feet. those of you who want and are able to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to stay there for as long as it feels good. For everyone else, start to deepen the breath, start to come back into the body. Just allow some gentle movements, maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. And then in your own time, turning to lie on your side in the fetal position, just a final few moments of deep rest. And now using your hands to help you, pressing up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed, slipping off your glasses if you wear them, rubbing the palms together, stimulate all the energy in the nadis in the hands and all the friction and create heat. And when your hands feel warm and energized, cupping the palms of the hands over the eye sockets and just allowing the eyes to drink in that beautiful warmth and energy you've created. And gradually blinking the eyes open, allowing the fingers to fall away. And welcome back. Thank you very much, everybody. We just gave the Muladhara chakra a little tune up and did a bit of hip opening, a bit of external rotation work at the same time. Thank you, friends, for coming together in this Sangha, this journey, shared experience and practice, and bowing the head, raising the thumbs to the third eye space, acknowledging our wisdom, uniting our heart and minds, hands back to the heart in prayer position, in gratitude to one another and to your own precious bodies and to the universe. You are anchored to the earth and the universe is supporting you. Namaste. I'm going to turn off the recording, and if anybody wants to turn on their videos and audios and have a chat, that would be lovely.